our department would like to present a memento to our keynote speaker. So, ma'am, please receive it. Thank you, sir. So now, let's go on to the seminar.
Thank you so much, Sheikh sir, for giving me the opportunity. நான் சார் கிட்ட வந்து ரொம்ப நாளாக நான் சொல்லிட்டேன், I want to give back in some way, I want to do something for the students, and he was sweet enough to remember me and கூப்பிட்டுட்டே இருப்பாரு. But date, I live in Bangalore, so that was the only thing, so dates எப்பயுமே clash ஆகும், வேற ஏதாவது எனக்கு இருக்கும். So finally I'm very happy to have made it. Audience pulse பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தேன் நான். இந்த சைடு கேர்ள்ஸ்லாம் முறைச்சிட்டே இருக்காங்க, என்ன ரீசன்? அந்த சைடு கேர்ள்ஸ் ஓகே என்ஜாய் பண்ணுறாங்க, இவங்க ரொம்ப முறைச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க, எனக்கே பயமாக இருக்குது. அண்ட் ஐ வாஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் யூ ஆல், அங்கே உட்காந்துட்டு கமெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு, ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் வி ஆல்சோ லேர்ன்ட் ஃப்ரம் சம் இன்ஸ்பைரிங் பீப்புள், ரைட்? Yeah, so sir, after you, I'm actually feeling nervous. It was a very good session. I hope, whatever I speak will be of some use to you all. So let me just get started right away. I actually handled an online session on resume preparation. May I know how many of you attended it? I handled an online session. And the batch, avanga irukangala sir? Okay. So, appa and the stories na inge sollalam. Okay. Yeah. So, before I start, can one of you tell me the difference between hard skills and soft skills? Easy question. You all must have heard hard skills and soft skills, right? So can one of you tell me the difference between hard skills and soft skills? Sir, irukappa nariya pesneenga. This is not fair. I want you guys to interact. Just put up your hand, I'll come there. Or examples. If you can't tell me what is soft skill and what is hard skill, examples at least. Ma'am, this is a hard skill, this is a soft skill. Yes.
Hard skills are like more technical oriented, and soft skills are like communication skills and something others.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Sanjith? Anybody else? Who's mother?
Yeah, hard skills is like playing flute, violin. And soft skills is like doing with a computer, like Photoshop. Yeah.
That's a very different response I received. Okay, yes, thank you guys. Hard skills and soft skills, the basic differences would be hard skills are quantifiable or measurable. Number one, it's a technical skill that you learn, okay? Like if you're working in IT, your C++, Java, whatever would be your hard skill. Soft skills are not measurable, not quantifiable. You can say quantifiable, maybe to a little extent, but they are the skills that you learn over time, right? And they are not dependent or irrespective of the industry or the company you're working in. These are the skills that you gain over time, like your communication skills, your creativity, your attitude, problem-solving attitude that Sir was speaking about, right? These would be your emotional intelligence, right? These would be your soft skills, okay? So, not measurable, soft skills are not measurable, hard skills are measurable or quantifiable, okay? And what is the difference between knowledge and a skill? Anybody? You all must have heard the terms knowledge and skills. Yes, the same girl again. What's your name, dear?
Knowledge is knowing something, and skill is using that knowledge in the
applying it. Applying your knowledge. Wow, Sonaka. Next question, Angala. Satish. Noted. Satish. Okay. Okay. So, soft skill. Now, today we are going to look at some soft skills for career progress. இப்போ உங்களுக்கு ஜாப் கிடைச்சிருச்சு, okay, you strive hard, you make a great resume and you appear for the interview and you get selected, okay, but after that what are the skills that help you get promotion in your job. And it's not just that, let alone get your job also. Which year are you guys in? First year. It's a combination. Both years. Okay. So, ingeyum in the skills use agum, but even when you get into a job and for your promotion and all that, it will still help you. Okay. And guess the first point that I have. Soft skills for career progress. Just guess. It's one of the skills that we already discussed. No. Communication on the basic. So I didn't put that specifically as a skill set because it's basic. So you guys are all doing your MBA. And one thing, see, irrespective of the language you speak, you need not be fluent in English, but are you clear in your communication? What is the message that you're trying to convey? Let it be English, Tamil, French or whatever. Is there clarity in your communication? Adu mattum paathukonga, because sometimes they even encourage, neenga Tamil la kuda pesunga, right? ஒரு படம் இருக்குமே அதில் நீங்கள் தமிழ்லேயே சொல்லுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்களே அந்த மாதிரி. பட் கிளாரிட்டி இருக்கா? நீங்கள் குழப்பக்கூடாது. வாட் இஸ் யோர் மெசேஜ்? இஃப் யூ ஆர் கிளியர், ஓகே. பட் ஆல்சோ ஒர்க் ஆன் யோர் இங்கிலீஷ், லைக் சார் செட். Because every company, any MNC, it's mostly MNCs that recruit you all. And if you want to get into Big Four and all that, you definitely need to know English and be able to speak English, okay? So, communication is basic. But apart from that, so I didn't put it as a separate skill on the PPT. We'll also be looking at it. But what is the other skill? The first skill that I put, based on my life experience. Any guesses? It's a skill that we already discussed. Sir kuda pesunar and the skill patti. Problem solving. Problem solving varum, but that's not the first skill that I mentioned. Attitude ella romba important, I agree, but sir specifica sonnar and the terms.
Continuous learning,
emotional intelligence. Number one, based on my life experience, adha na first point up potiruken, because I was a short-tempered person, okay? Was. Okay? But family, okay, your parents have to put up with you, your siblings have to put up with you, so they put up with you. But when you step into corporate, when you get into a company, there you cannot afford to yell at people or make faces smirk at people, right? So your emotional intelligence is the first skill that you need to learn and have control on your emotions. Anga rendu peru sirichite irukanga in your own world. What are your names, guys?
Daya, Karthiki.
What are your weaknesses? Sir, what is your weakness?
I speak a lot. So
Okay? Listen, panina seekram mudichilla. Okay? Yeah. So we were talking about emotional intelligence, right? Again, see, sir was also saying you cannot change overnight suddenly in one day. Neenga inga enna eppadi behave pandringlo அதுதான் see suddenly overnight எழுந்து நான் இன்னைக்கு மாறிட்டேன். As soon as you get your job, nobody can change overnight, right? It's the attitude that you develop here, it's the skills that you develop here that's going to take you places tomorrow. So please cultivate those habits now only, from now on, for your good. Okay? Yeah. So emotional intelligence, there has been situations in my company which I'm not really proud of, but yeah, there were arguments with my superior and I had to face some consequences because I raised my voice a little bit, right? But that I should thank her, actually, my superior, because from then I'm a changed person, really. Pattadam puriyum abdin solvangalla. So that happened in my life, right? So the first lesson from my experience that I want to give you all is, please control your emotions. College kuda paravala, I mean, sorry sir அப்படின்னா மார்க் போட்டுருவாங்க உங்களுக்கு, I mean, நம்ம பசங்க அப்படின்ட்டு, they forgive you, but that will not happen in corporate. I want to just tell you a real life example. My first company was Infosys, where I was placed as a software engineer, even before I did my MBA. I did my MBA well after my Infosys career, and I was also working in another company as a copy editor. So it was after that I did my MBA here in Anna University. Infosys, what happened? There were 4 guys. I mean, we were given a leave. It was a long holiday. So we all went to our native, obviously, and we all came back. But for 4 guys who were extending their holidays, right? So what they did was they gave their ID card to their friends to swipe for them. ID card, they college mentality. Friends kita kodutittu, I assume all of you understand Tamil, speak Tamil? All of you? Right. So avanga vandu friends kita ID card kodutittu, you guys swipe for me, abdintu they were in their hometown and they were caught red-handed. You know, it's Infosys, it's not your college anymore. And guess what was the action that was taken by the organization against them? Guess? Fire. Zero tolerance, you know. If you actually approach us for help, you know, could you help us, sir? There is a way of doing things, right? If you genuinely approach us, we are there to help you. But if you want to, you know, resort to such malpractice, this is not the organization for you, right? So the HR came and addressed us later. You're no longer college students, you're paid your stipend. We were getting some 18K something stipend when we started, okay? But it's not about the money, you know, it's about job satisfaction and what you actually do in life that gives you happiness, right? So, but this lesson stayed with me, right? There are ways of doing things, never resort to such malpractice, right? So, yeah. So coming back to emotional intelligence, let it not be a regret, you know, that you reacted. Never react, just respond. Think and respond, like Sir was saying, right? So never react or retort immediately. That will definitely put you in trouble. And people skills. Not all the times you will have your set of friends. In fact, in corporate, you will have to work a lot with people you don't like. Right? So develop some people skills. Let me show you this slide. Okay, I'm not going through all slides. Please, yeah. Sir, could you please reduce the mic volume? Romba louda irukku solranga. Hello, check. Okay. Better? Is there any difference at all? Yes? Okay, so first is emotional intelligence. Number 2, creativity and problem solving. Okay? This is the order that I see it in. I have work experience of 9 years, and these are the skills, like I have listed it in the order that according to me, right? How important these skills are according to me. I again want to tell you a real life incident. Back in 1990s, I think, I'm not exactly sure of the year, you all know this company Ford, right? Ford wanted to build houses for their construction workers, okay? They wanted to build houses for their construction workers, and they decided to get the opinion of they formed a committee, board members, and they decided to just start the project. Everybody was in for the idea. They thought, you know, okay, it will lead to, more loyalty of the company. The workers, you know, ended up being more loyal to the company, and they were all okay with the idea, and they started constructing, almost. But then one gentleman, suggested taking opinion from the actual workers, right? Do you like the idea? Because what if we do so much and then they don't like the idea of it, right? And he took their idea, opinions, and all the men said, wow, awesome, you know. Why wouldn't they not like to have a new apartment when they are living in, let's say, huts or, like slum, like why would they not like the idea, right? So they were all elated at the idea. Guys, can I have your attention? Okay, what was I saying? Ford and construction company. So we get distracted, you know. So it's nice if you all keep a little silence. It's okay if you're, as long as you don't talk to the other person, right? And so they also decided to take the opinion of the women. Okay, and you know what the women actually said? Sir, it won't work out. The idea and all is fine. We appreciate your gesture for building houses for us, but it really will not work out. Why will it not work out? Sir, because our mem sabs, right? Our owners will easily confiscate. They will confiscate the property, and it won't really remain with us. Oh, we never thought of it, this angle of it, So what can we do? We also want to build houses for you, okay? But we also want to ensure it's not confiscated, right? So what can be done? Okay, so the women came up with an excellent idea, excellent solution, very easy solution to ensure that the houses are not confiscated. At the same time, they can also move in, right? So can any of you think of what suggestion the women might have made? Construction-wise, they gave a small idea to build it, something about the construction, okay? So that will ensure, the house remains with you, it's not confiscated. Any idea? Any idea? Okay, so the women came up with the idea to build common bathrooms. The houses are all fine, but for each floor have a common toilet, right? So you cannot really sell it, right? So this is a fantastic idea. I mean, when I heard of this incident, wow, problem solving can be so simple as this. And there's another very famous analogy or real incident that happened in a soap manufacturing company, right? In a soap manufacturing company, there were few empty, defective soap boxes. They didn't have soap, So this machine was churning out defective items as well, along with the correct ones, right? So the company thought of having a laser machine built, so you can scan from top, which will involve lakhs and lakhs of money, right? And then one factory worker came up with a very simple idea. Guess the idea? Exactly, or a fan which will blow off all the empty soap boxes. So all the time the solution need not be so complex or so great or so mind-blowing, it can be as simple as this. So when you guys become managers and leaders, make sure to involve everybody. Like you should ask opinions, get opinions even from, the lowest in the hierarchy, right? In the example, they were the ones who gave practical solutions, right? So even your leadership, you should encourage ideas and you should encourage creativity, right? And leadership skills, again, very, very important because you're all doing your MBA. And nobody believes in a leader who doesn't walk the talk, right? Let's get there. Interpersonal skills, your written communication, very, very important because it's all about emails, right? When you enter an MNC, you will not really be in contact with everybody you're working with. They will be on site and you will do a lot of written communication with them, right? So written communication, in fact, people form an image based on your mails. What you write to them, they form an opinion based on this, what kind of a person you are and all that, right? And personal branding, just let's look at it, yeah. So, the first is how do you cultivate emotional intelligence at work? First, self-awareness. How many of you can confidently say you're self-aware? Ma'am, I know my strengths, weakness. I know, I'm the mari person, like I can confidently tell you my strengths and weaknesses. How many of people can confidently say? Just raise your hands. I'm not going to come and ask you or question you or have you tell your strengths and weaknesses and all. Okay. Good. What about the others? Very good. Okay. Half hand. Not that confident. You guys? In the process. So very good. So at least if you started thinking about it, strengths and weakness, that's good. Because self-awareness is the first step to any progress that you want to make in life. Right? I don't care, I don't even care about my previous older ones. They don't really want progress in their life. They're happy the way they are, which is also a good thing. But if you really want career progress, you need to be self-aware and work constantly on yourselves, right? Practice active listening. Again, this is a story that changed my life. Active listening, hopefully after this story, you will become better listeners. So how many of you have read this book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl? Very good, sir. Your name? Tirumalai. Like the book?
Very much.
Love the book. It will change your life. Please read it, okay? Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So what happens is, he is psychotherapist, right? Logotherapist and psychiatrist. He was also practicing psychiatry and he came up with this concept called logotherapy. Adavadhu edukku nama your why to live will make you actually you can put up with any situation as long as you have an answer for the question why should I live. Like some people will have the I want to live for my daughter and I want to be an inspiration for her. My daughter's 10 years old, right? So your reasons may be different. Sila per solvanga நான் just jolly ah irukanum, I just want to live life. I like living. I want to live life, right? Your reasons could be different. So as long as you have a why to live, you can put up with any how to live, okay? Now this there was this woman who was his friend, okay? And she was depressed for quite some time and she was on the verge of committing a suicide. Now something struck her. Seri, ivarukku call pannalam அப்படினு ஏதோ ஸ்ட்ரைக் ஆயிருக்கு உங்களுக்கு. So she made a call to this person, Viktor Frankl, before she actually took the decision to take away her life. Okay. Now this person, he spoke to her, and him being a natural psychiatrist, he was giving her reasons why she should not commit a suicide. Okay. So the talk went on for 2 hours, and after that she changed her mind to not commit a suicide. Okay. And she told him so illa neenga mind maatittinga, so I'm planning to go on with my life. Wow. So which of the points that I told you, what's happening, sir? So the teacher in me, I'm also a faculty, okay? So the teacher in me comes out or awakes now and then. Please bear with me. I would like it if you guys don't talk amongst each other and listen to me for the very short time that we have. Thank you. Okay. So he was asking her in the point, which of these points that I mentioned made you change your life, change your mind, right? She said it was not any of the points that you actually said, but it was just the fact that there was one person to listen to me for the 2 hours. There is some person who can actually listen to me without judging me, So that is what made me change my mind, right? So that goes to say the power of listening, actual listening, right? So to be emotionally intelligent, you also have to be active listeners and good listeners, not just being there physically, but also, actually listening to them, right? And if it works for you, you can experiment with different techniques like meditation, whatever works for you. Sila per solvanga enakku meditation la work out agadu, I can't sit in one place and meditate. Whatever works for you, working out in a gym works for you, then do that. But the idea is to be holistically well, and for which emotional intelligence is very, very important, because you don't want to regret something that you did, something stupid that you did for the rest of your life, which will cost you lots. If you don't control that 1 minute of anger, it's going to be a regret for the rest of your life. So you don't want that. Nobody wants that, right? Yeah. So creativity and problem solving. Some tips for you all. You can always reframe problems as questions. So sir kuda sonnar 5 why technique appdi sonnar. So if you can always, let's say in corporates you will always have problem concerning people or concerning work. Problems irundite dhaan irukum, right? So see if you can rephrase your questions as your problems as questions. Now why 5 why sonnar, you can try that, or just frame simple questions, right? So why should we do this? How there is a technique called queststorming. Ningalam brainstorming kelvi pattirpinga, right? Can one of you tell me what brainstorming is? Just ideating, right? For creativity, for the purpose of coming up with more ideas, right? So there is a technique called queststorming where you list down all the questions. Why should I? Everything concerning the problem. Who should do this? When should I do this? All why, when, any kind of question that you can conjure up or any kind of question that you can think of. We did an activity like 4 years back when I did a corporate training course, and we came up with up to 100 questions. When we sat together as a team and tried to list down questions, we even came up with 100 and odd questions. So there are actually so many questions that you can think of. Or word edutukonga. The problem statement frame pannittingana, take each word in that problem statement and ask questions concerning that. So that's a wonderful way to come up with more ideas, right? And then you keep trying new things. How many of you are organized? Unga veetlayum sari, you keep your things neat and tidy. Nanu apdi illa kathittiruken. Okay, very good. So do you keep shuffling your space also? Ida inga maathalam, ida ipdi maathalam. Do you do that? Yeah. So do that. Unga office workstation kuda It's not, and try new things, like take a different route once in a while to college. Ella route to explore pannalam. So these people are naturally, your creativity will improve when you try new things, okay? So now there was this research conducted, it's about creativity and also taking initiatives, okay? So they wanted to know why some people stay in the organization for a longer time than others who quit often. Sila per pathina company maathite irupanga, like 1 year or 6 months maathite irupanga. I know a person like that and I really don't know how he does it. He gets a better pay, but again, anga pathina irukka mattaru, or 6 months la maariduvaru. There are people like that. But there are some people who stay in the organization for years and years. I mean, due respect to all our professors, right? Of course, it's a government job, right? Yeah. So, why do some people stay in the organization for a longer time while others keep changing? Okay, so there was this research conducted, and ella vidhamana data they took, your gender, age, everything, whether you're married, marital status, everything, and they also recorded data of the browsers that people use. May seem silly, browser ko idu ko enna sambandham, right? They also went to that extent of recording the browser, which browsers these people use, and it was found out that people who use Chrome and Firefox stayed for a longer time than the people who used Safari and IE. Can anybody, of course nobody uses IE, let's say Safari. Can anybody guess why? The people who used Chrome and Firefox stayed in the organization for a longer time than the people who used Safari, considering nobody uses Internet Explorer anymore. Any guesses? Guys who browse a lot? Sorry? Incognito option. Any guesses?
Google has a better search engine optimization.
Okay, better SEO. Okay, better SEO, you're almost there. But you're almost there. They are better. But why?
Suggestion.
Related with the question.
Google can relate to other jobs related.
Sorry?
You show other suggestions related to this.
Can show
Jobs
suggestion.
related on other jobs are coming. Sorry.
Okay. You're close, but better user experience. But see, how come Neenga sonnadellame correct? But why do they stay in the organization for a longer time when others keep quitting? Related with the main question. Neenga sonnadellam correct na, but what do you do actually?
They go in search of new things if they don't get what they suggested.
They go in search of new things, they're almost there. So these two browsers have to be downloaded, they are not default. Right? They are not default browsers, whereas Safari is a default browser, you can just use it. But these two browsers have to be downloaded. Neenga konja effort edukanum. You should download and then only you can use these browsers. So the people who end up staying longer in an organization are the people who do something about their problems, who take action to solve their problems at work. So this was a finding which I thought was really interesting and I thought I'll share. So take initiatives, okay, and keep trying new things, like I said, okay, keep taking new initiatives and defer judgment of ideas. Brainstorming, as part of creativity workshops, I do brainstorming with people, okay. First and foremost rule in brainstorming, you shouldn't judge any idea. Just record all ideas, if it's silly or crazy or wild, because if you idea no, there is an impediment to creativity, right? So you should encourage all ideas and get all the ideas from people without judging any idea. So that's the thumb rule of brainstorming. And even queststorming, I just told you, queststorming is nothing but framing questions about the problem, right? And use positive language. In the brain rewiring, I think sir would also be left. Okay, so when you think, frame positive questions in your mind, this can be done. Positive, even when you talk to yourself, frame positive questions and talk to yourself, more chances of solving the problem and being a successful person, right? So use a positive language and collaborate for creativity. Two minds are better than one. There are a lot of phrases that go on to say that that you should collaborate with people in order to be more creative, right? Because the others, see, even these two examples that I gave, problem solving, they were all actually opinions of the workers, that were actually implemented, and it helped solve a much larger problem, right? So this is a cartoon that I love. I knew that listening was crucial to being a good leader, but I never knew that I was the one who had to do the listening, right? So how do you develop leadership skills? See, first of all, you have to believe that anything can be cultivated. எல்லாமே உங்களால முடியும் அப்படிங்கறத நீங்க நம்பணும். So சில பேர் சொல்வாங்க, I mean, since I work a lot with students, no, they say, ma'am, I'm not creative. Don't call me please, I'm not at all creative, right? I can't even draw. See, these are the stories that you tell yourselves. But if you actually believe, you can do anything that you want to do, right? And you can be great leaders. Even the one guy talking there with his friends, he can also be a great leader if he believes in himself. Okay? What's your name, sir? With the glasses, yes. You actually disturb another yaar and there. Okay, so who is your role model? Riyaz, right? What's his name? Riyaz. Who is your inspirational role model in life and why? You must have had inspiration, like yaravadhu irukomla. Dhoni or yaravadhu irukomla, sports la, music la. Entertainer. Why? Cool. Why? Sorry? Mic la solunga, ellarkum kekku.
Ma'am, எத்தனை தடவை செத்தாவே எந்திரிச்சு வந்தாங்க.
எத்தனை தடவை செத்தாவே எழுந்திருச்சு வந்துடுறாராம். ஓகே. Okay? Now can I have your attention? Yeah? Okay, so first of all, having a vision. If you do not have a vision, you will only be a right hand man. நீங்க மத்தவங்க சொல்றத கேக்குறவனா தான் இருப்பீங்களே தவிர you cannot be a leader if you don't have a set vision. So people with visions like Elon Musk, there are so many, Infosys, Narayan Murthy, right? So they are all people who wanted to change the status quo and who had a vision, right? So they looked at the larger picture. Ipo the Amazon or the founders, sorry, I forgot the name of it. Jeff Bezos, right? Online shopping on hit agum appadina, like he was able to foresee. Hindsight, they say a lot of things. So he had that thought and he was a visionary. And now, trust me, how many of you still buy physically, like clothes and all? For me, it's entirely online shopping now. Okay, there are people. Okay, I don't know. I find online shopping so convenient, and I find the variety is also really good in online shopping. And the best part is you can just return. If you don't like it, you can return and get your money back, right? So leaders are definitely the people who have visions. You can be a right hand man. You can work under someone. See, I'm not saying that is not bad. That is bad. What works for you? But if you really want to be someone big, and if you want people to follow you, you should also follow people. In order to be a leader, you also there's a type of style of leadership called servant leadership, where you also follow people. You're just people's servant. The leader is a people's servant. They are successful leaders. And I personally do not agree with the way Steve Jobs led his people. He was very aggressive. I don't, of course, in the long run, he was very creative and all that, but that's my personal take, I don't really believe in being very aggressive with your teammates, right? That will not work in the long run, is my opinion. So if there is a debate, I'd love to take part in it, and you need not be aggressive. And how many of you have heard of assertive communication? Because we're talking about aggressive and all that. Assertive communication, can you tell me what it means? What do you think it means? What do you think it means? Yeah. Okay, try it. See, sir spoke about taking initiatives. Yes.
Assertive communication doesn't need to be aggressive. You can be subtle and you can, make sure that the point is reached to your subordinate.
Absolutely. He nailed it. So a certain communication is not giving up on your rights. Okay, at the same time also being empathetic. Ipo vandu I want to speak up for myself, because if you don't speak for yourself, who will speak for you? Have that one thing in mind. Okay, yeah, life la vandu two things: speak up for myself, I've always followed. The other rule that I followed is, if you don't ask, the answer is always a no. Unless you ask, see, the worst thing that they can give you is a no. But what if they say a yes? Right? So these are two things that I live by, you know, and this has actually worked for me. You know, I'll tell you, na actually Anna University final semester irukumbodhu TCS call for panniranga HR job ka for HR generalist. So na vandu poirundhen. But I didn't know, anga ponala da enak therinjadhu degree mudichirukano அப்படினு. Degree முடிச்சா உங்களுக்கு தான் அப்படின்ட்டு. But I was still pursuing my MBA. I was doing my final year project there. Okay, but I was very disheartened. Oh no, I came all the way and this is so disheartening. So I requested that guy, sir, I don't want the job, but now that I've come this far, I at least want to be a part of the selection process. Okay, just allow me to sit for GD, allow me to sit, you know, so that I get an experience of it. And our poi intern, the HR there, I think he asked his superior, konjam wait pannunga ma'am solittu. He made me sit. He went and asked someone and he said, yes ma'am, you can be a part of the selection process. Right? So this all happened only because I asked. I requested. See, the way you ask also matters. Okay? You can't just order around people. And one more life incident, life change. I mean, everything now, sir, sonar, you can only connect it backwards. So all that I was thinking, I experienced pathina, I did biotech, okay, and then I got a job in Infosys. Anga I didn't like IT. I thought, you know, there are 1,000 people who are good at coding. You know, I want to do something where I get actual job satisfaction, right? And then I was married then and I got pregnant, so I was looking at a job with less pressure, mental pressure, less stress. So a friend of mine referred me into an e-publishing company as a copy editor. So that was really good, considering I'm a book lover and I read lots. So I thought copy editor job would be good, and I stayed on for a year, but that was not very challenging. You know, it's doing the same thing again and again. Ninga promote analo, you will be a senior copy editor and senior. You know, so I didn't find that challenging enough. So I decided to do my MBA. Okay. The point enough, yeah. So this story I've told my students and I'd love to tell you also. So when I was learning piano in my UG, so now usually வீட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு change பண்ண freshen up ஆயிட்டு I'd go to my piano classes. But that day college la edo activity, so it got late for me, so I straight away went to the piano class. So அவர் என்ன பார்த்துட்டு, you know, he was like, he saw that I was already tired. So would you like a cup of tea, my dear? He was a very old man, 8 years now, he's no more. But I remember him always for this lesson, and every time I'm telling this story, I think he's actually alive out there and smiling and blessing me, right? Yeah, so his name was Joseph Sir, he's no more. But that day he saw me and he offered me a cup of, would you like, dear, solvaru ellarum, even adults who learn piano from him, my dear, that's the way he addresses people. So would you like a cup of tea, my dear? So I said, no sir, thank you. Okay, and then after some time I said, I want water, sir. And then he gave me water, and after the piano class, I was about to leave, he called me, would it be a little out of place if I teach you good manners, my child? I was shocked. What did I do? Satyama, enna pannane enakku theriyala. Yes sir, I did not know how to react. And he was like, do you remember what you said when you entered? Sir, I said, I don't know, you offered me coffee. Yeah. So what did you say? I said, no thank you sir. Okay. So what did you say after that? I don't remember exactly, sir. So you asked for water. Yes sir, I asked. So how did you ask? You said, I want water. So whenever you're asking something from somebody, you should always, you know, plead or request. Could I please have a glass of water? You know, that is the way you actually request, you know. Trust me, adu unga life maathu. Sir, unga per enna? Neenga idha try panni paarenga. When you send a mail tomorrow, you know, when you're working, right? So could you please? But of course, there are some times when you have to show your authority. If a leader and to a subordinate who's not even, you know, adhering to any deadlines, you just cannot be, you know, asking him, could you please, you also have to know to walk the talk, right? But in general, keep it as a life rule that whenever you're requesting or asking something from somebody, you always request or plead, Okay, that will take you places. It's small things like this, the small manners that you cultivate and habits that you cultivate, like Sir said, this is what make you stand out from the rest, right? This is what gives you an edge over others. And crisis management, taking initiatives, practice discipline, walk the talk. Walk the talk again, time romba kammiya irukku, but two very inspiring stories, which I just like to share quickly. So how many of you have heard of Joseph or John Lister? Lister is his second name. I'm not very sure of the first name, Joseph or John. Father of antiseptic. Anybody heard of him? Okay, so he was a father of antiseptic because he was the one who actually discovered the microorganisms like bacteria. He was a surgeon himself, and he figured out that there were some invisible particles causing the infection, okay, among the surgeons who didn't wash their hands before performing the surgery. But there was a difference in the surgeons who washed their hands before performing the operation. Okay, but he was appealing to other fellow surgeons, please wash your hands, please wash your hands. There's no proof, and those were the times where, of course, people want facts, now everything, you either say facts or you get lost. That is what we say today, but yeah. So he tried appealing to people, nobody listened to him. Okay, and he said, and then you guess what he did? He operated on himself without washing his hands. Ipayachi you will believe, and the infection. Now at least you will believe that there are some parts. Look at the integrity, right? So, I would say he was a leader and a visionary, right? It was because of him that microbes are actually discovered. And Savitribai Phule is also exceptional visionary. She was the one of the pioneers of women education in India. If possible, read her story. People were laughing, and now how you may be laughing and commenting at me. People were mocking her literally, those days. But she was the one who, it was because of her that, we women are at least this empowered today. If not for her, the picture would be really bad still, right? And one more, integrity is what you do when nobody is watching you. I'm so great, I do this, I keep my word, but what do you actually do? Right? It's easier to preach than practice. Okay? So there was, back in the 1940 or 50 again, there was this Learjet. Okay? So there were smaller aircrafts which could accommodate 50-60 people. Okay? And it was a massive success immediately after its production. People took to it and really liked it. But after 2 years, 2 continuous Learjets, they continuously crashed, one after the other, consecutive. So, obviously, aircraft, then yarum pomatanga, right? There will be no business anymore. So this person, Lear, it was named after him, right? So he wanted to find out what the problem was, right? But he kind of figured out this must be the problem. But how will he verify? He has to fly another plane to verify, what if that also crashes? So he flew the plane himself, right, to test the problem, but thankfully he managed to survive, and he also verified this was the cause. The one that he had in mind, that was the actual cause, right? So this is integrity, guys, what you do when nobody is watching you, and like keeping your word. We need not sacrifice our lives like these people did, but at least keeping your word, following basic discipline or decorum. These things will really take you places, okay? And keep learning, and if you look at leaders, they are continuous learners, right? They do not stop learning, ever. And interpersonal skills, again, very, very important. Interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, how you talk to others. If a GD activity you will have, right? Please make the best of it, and all these last benchers who shy away from not talking, they are the ones who should go and participate in the GD. GD, group discussions. You will be given current affairs topics and you will be asked to speak. Now, why do you think they do GD? As a recruiter, GD, what are the skills that you think will be tested in a GD? Communication skills, okay.
Aptitude.
Initiation, very good. Attitude, very good. Can I have a response from Undertaker fan?
Assertive communication.
Very good, assertive communication, but you are all lacking the main thing. See, communication skill will even come through in your personal interview, how well you are answering the questions, right? So that will come through there. Absolutely. Teamwork. how good a team player you are. How do you disagree with the person? How do you agree with the agreeing? There's no problem. How do you disagree with the person? Do you go to the extent of arguing, or are you practicing assertive communication? Right? So that is why they, they conduct GDs to know how good a team player you are. And also if you're a leader material, the one who takes the initiative to start a discussion. If conflict is happening, there'll be one guy, mediator, who acts as the mediator, right? So these are the skills that is tested in a GD. So if your college does it, please, I'm sure Anna University, doles out such placement. You will have placement talks also, right? And please make the best of these activities that's handed over to you, right? No point regretting later. I mean, now you can sit in the last row, pass comments, but time is gone. Time gone is gone. Right? And you will be the losers if you do not make the best of the resources available to you, right? And control your emotions, help people. You help but just see, why should I come all the way from Bangalore and give a lecture to you, right? It actually costs me. No, I'm not like talking anything great, but you also please give back. Tomorrow you become successful, you are in, good jobs, you come back, meet your professors and give a talk to your juniors that will help them, right? That is the idea, giving back to the society, right? And written communication skills, again, very, very important. I will quickly, what's the time?
4:35.
4:35, I have time. Sir, I have time, no? Till 4:50, yeah. So keep your message very simple. Now, very simple and clear. Proofread your messages. What do you mean by proofread? What do I mean by proofread? Editing, check for errors. Now I'll give you a real example that happened in my husband is working in IT. He's working with Tech Mahindra. This is something that really happened, okay? So this girl who was working with him, she had to send a critical mail copying all her bosses, all her superiors, okay? She already, this is one tip. Unless you draft your mail, you do not copy the recipients first. You first draft your message, read it once or twice, and then only add the recipients, because it will save you from a lot of embarrassment and trouble, right? So what happened, this girl copied everybody, and in the subject line, the subject was supposed to be shifts to be implemented, okay? IT morning shift, I don't know what she meant, shifts to be implemented, and she forgot to type the F in shifts. I mean, what an embarrassment. I'm not telling it for humor's sake, okay? This is not for humor's sake, but this is to tell you all the importance of proofreading. Another friend வந்து நான் Infosysல இருக்கும்போது okay sir போடுறதுக்கு okay sit னு போட்டா சரி shut up and sit down, I mean, even office communicator. See, anything that you communicate at work, imagine it has your seal in it. Okay, your name? Pallavi. So, even if Pallavi chats in office communicator, imagine the office seal is there, because it's an office communicator anyway. Even if it's a little informal, it still can be used against her. Any slight mistake that she does. So, all the more importance when it comes to sending out emails. So, I didn't tell it for humor's sake, but to avoid embarrassments. Don't embarrass yourself because of the simple mistake of not proofreading your message, right? And be very straightforward and concise. இப்போ எல்லாருமே lectures-லாம் கூட சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்க, be concise, keep it short and simple, because nobody really can afford the time to read your long paragraphs. If you can tell me, they also say sell your message, elevator pitch. Have you guys heard of elevator pitch? What is a pitch? Business pitch that you make to sell your product or a service. Now, why is it called elevator pitch? Because you should be able to sell your product or a service in a time that you travel in an elevator. Avlo shorter, you should keep it. You should be able to tell all the important messages in that short a period of time, which is 30 seconds, hardly a few seconds that you get to travel in an elevator, right? So, which is why it's called an elevator pitch. So, impactful ana, useful ana message, evlo minimal time la solromo, if you can be, if Pallavi is that person who can send out impactful information in as less time as possible, then she has an edge over all of you all. So, right? So, make your message twice impactful and less shorter, half the length and twice as impactful. Okay? And be straightforward. Follow the coffee cup rule. What is a coffee cup rule? What do you think it means?
Before finishing a cup of coffee, if they finish reading the letter,
Okay, that's a nice way. The elevator pitch updating modify pani coffee cup rule. That's not it actually. It means the opposite. So coffee cup rule is when you are writing critical. Let's say you are sending critical mails, very important mails. Okay, so this is a little bit got to do with proofreading and checking it. So draft the mail before adding all the recipients. Go have a cup of coffee. Come back and again reread the mail. Maybe you have missed out on some important information that you missed to add when you actually drafted the mail. Your signature vittutome, your time vittutome. Sometimes when you ellame pottirpinga, near this, near that, but time miss pannirpinga. We never know, right? Or time pottirpinga when you miss pannirpinga. So when you are drafting critical mails, draft it, go have a cup of coffee, come back. Maybe you read it in a different perspective entirely, and sometimes it strikes. Some of the important information that you missed to add will strike you and you will add it, right? So that is the coffee cup rule. So even for a WhatsApp, now these days a lot of sales happen in WhatsApp also. Sales in MBA marketing. If you get into a marketing job, right? How many of you have taken marketing? But even if you do not do marketing, any finance, you all have to know sales tips and techniques, right? Basic sales tips and techniques these are. Okay, so yeah, follow the coffee cup rule and seek help. Please ask for help. Please help. Students ma'am, but no, what if nobody is willing to help? Then you tell your superior that you have this problem. The lesson that I told you, HR. Approach us, right? Do not resort to malpractice. You rather approach us. We are there to help. So if you try asking, but the problem with humans is we won't even try. My ego, right? But try asking for help. It will really, and this is another important attitude a leader has. A leader should has a great team where his team is smarter than him. If you have a team where all the people there are dumber than you, then you will not progress, right? So you should encourage different ideas and you should have different sorts of people in your team. Like now they are talking about inclusion, diversity, equality and all. Of course, that angle also. But ensure, you encourage ideas, right? And you should be in a team that is smarter than you. Appada neenga progress panna mudiyum. If you have your friends ella adhe kuttaila vilinda matta solluvaangala appdi irundha, I'm sorry, you cannot progress. Okay? No, I'm not saying don't have friends. You can have your gang, but also always be receptive to learning. People observe and you can, observe, learn a lot. Right? So when you get into a company, what I tell my students is first observe the organization culture, hierarchy ennan parunga, anga sir, ma'am and kuparangla. See, this was very difficult for me. In Infosys, it was surname. It was not sir. It was the first name culture there in Infosys. You address people by first name. But NRN and all, of course, there are very few people. Nobody calls him NRN, but he will say, just call me NRN, don't call me sir and all. In Infosys, that was a culture, first name calling culture. But then I moved into college. Like after I did my MBA, HR and marketing, I wanted to be a HR. But this corporate training course, that was a game changer for me, changed my life. That was when I realized I actually have this talent of connecting with people and students started giving me good feedback and that is how I decided, okay, now I'm going to be a soft skills trainer, right? So that is what was a game changer for me. So in academia, then I got into a college to teach management subjects also, okay? So I was teaching BBA students and soft skills for MBAs and PGDMs. So anga the culture is sir and ma'am only. Even if it's a junior, like say canteen, the person responsible for canteen, avara kuda neenga sir and kupalana, he will take offense. Neenga eppadi enna ipo mail ella dear Mr. appdi second name potingana, a student actually came and told me, ma'am, romba kochittaru. So you should be observant, mind the organization. Smart ones easily pick these up. When you enter the company, you be observant to, to learn all these things. How are people addressing each other? What is the culture there? And one more very important thing I'll tell you, hard work versus smart work plus smart work. Of course, hard work also, right? One thing is you should, develop the habit of making a small talk with everyone. Hi, team and your boss also. hello sir, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? You know, you should develop that skill whether you like it or not. Boss or, if it's a lady or a male or whoever it may be, develop the art of making a small talk because there is something called visibility in organizations, how visible you are. So even if there is a position and they are considering people for it, now the silent hard worker will not be thought of. இப்போ நீங்கள் வரீங்க உங்கள் வேலையை செஞ்சுட்டு சைலண்டாக போயிடுறீங்க அப்படின்னா nobody will know you except maybe the team leader. But if you are a person who is visible in the organization, you know, you know the director, and even now, because I'm teaching all this, even when I quit my last job, நான் director கிட்டயும் பேசிட்டு தான் வந்தேன். So it was a great pleasure working with you. Immediately he said, Sukanya, share your profile. We'll call you. We'll be in touch. We'll definitely call you for future projects. You know, so this is what I'm talking about. You should make yourself visible in the organization, right? And seek help. And yeah, this is my most important, most favorite topic that I love teaching my students. You should definitely know the art of branding yourself. எவ்வளோ பேர் லிங்க்டின்ல இருக்கீங்க, ஆக்டிவா இருக்கீங்க? Honestly, LinkedIn, professional network. Active இருக்கீங்க? How many of you? Hardly 1 or 2. Guys, LinkedIn really helps you in getting an internship opportunity, getting a job opportunity. I made a strategic move. I told you, I'm also into music, so I teach Carnatic music. It's not self-trumpet, but just to tell you how powerful LinkedIn is. So one wise thing I made was there, if you read my LinkedIn headline, it will go as a Faculty of Management, Softskills trainer and Carnatic music teacher. Trust me, now I'm a freelancer. Like I go as a visiting faculty to certain colleges. Okay, I'm not a full-timer because I want work-life balance. So I quit my job. So looking at Carnatic music teacher, I got a couple of opportunities, and now I'll be shortly doing a Carnatic concert, online concert only in the month of January. And this opportunity didn't even come via Facebook or Instagram. It came via LinkedIn. First நான் உங்களை தான் செக் பண்ண போகிறேன். லிங்க்டின், உங்கள் பேர் என்ன? நீங்கள் தான் தயா. Okay, LinkedIn profile. In fact, in my college, I make students present their LinkedIn profiles, you know. So I'll ensure they've prepared one. See, it's for you. What am I going to gain, right? So, if you want success in your life, you know, if you want, to grow in life, these are some tips that can really help you, right? So, social media management, what you post. It's not enough if you just have an account and keep liking. You know, how many of you write in some way, blogs, anything, articles? Very good, sir. What do you write?
I write about current affairs, geopolitics, anthropology, and film appreciation.
Do you have a blog?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'd like to read it.
Sure.
Yeah, share the link with me. So this actually, because I was teaching in a law school, but it's very relevant even for MBA students, okay? So some jobs, even for internship positions, it's not enough if you just clear the personal interview. They look at your publications. They look at what all you've published. Show me your publications. For students, not even for teachers. They're not recruiting teachers there, just for students who are the same. நீங்களாவது PG பண்றீங்க, அங்க UGK, நீங்க show me your articles, what all you've published. That's a mandate for some. But I'm very happy that I worked in IFM Law School because I was inspired by my teammates to actually write and start publishing. I never thought of myself as a writer before that. I'm good at delivering, connecting with students and all. But I'm not this researcher, who researches and writes. But my team, in law school and the team, everybody was publishing. And one colleague of mine, though he's junior to me, he has published in the Hindu. He has written articles for the Hindu. Of course, he's a lawyer, law professor. But I got really inspired. And today I can proudly say I have written 3 articles which is published in the Women's Web, which is a online journal. But, thank you guys. Thank you so much. But the credit goes to my teammates. That's why I said your teammates should be smarter than you. Ilana, they'll only drag you down. Right? Have your friends, personal, but you should know where to draw the line. Seri, friendship mukyam da, but you should know to draw the line also. Right? And pay attention to your attire and body language, very, very important. பாதி உடை ஏதோ தமிழில் சொல்லுவாங்களே, பாதி ஆடை பாதி, right? And blogging, publishing articles and participating conferences, seminars. I thank you guys for your time now. The seminar, you're sitting from 2 o'clock. I really thank you. And create a business card and help பண்ணுங்க. Give back in society in some way or the other. Just give back. நீங்க நாளைக்கு பெரிய ஆளானோன்னா உங்க காலேஜ் Anna University வந்து இந்த மாதிரி you can give. See, இப்படி ஸ்பீச் கொடுத்து தான் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும் இல்லை. You can even check their resumes. You can collaborate with the faculty and see in what capacity or what space you can help them. Right? I hope you will all do it and I want all of you to do it. Right? So don't just stop with உங்களோட வேலை முடிஞ்சதா அவ்வளோதான் நான் என்ஜாய் பண்ண போகிறேன் பார்ட்டி பண்ண போகிறேன். No. Right? Give back. See, we are all so much blessed. Right? There are so many dying every day. There are so many that have so many diseases and are dying. எல்லாம் எவ்வளோ கஷ்டம் இருக்குது, மனுஷங்க எவ்வளோ கஷ்டப்பட்டுட்டு இருப்பாங்க. We are all really blessed. Right, to have a healthy body and you're all sitting here. So try and give back to the society, right? And so thank you so much guys once again for all your time. I hope I added little value to your time, to the 1 hour that you were listening to me. Yeah, so thank you. Any questions you can ask or we'll wind it up. Thank you so much sir once again. Thank you sir for the speech.
Big thank you. Without your participation, this program would have not be a success one. I thank Professor Head of the Department, Dr. Mahesh, and Dean, and Professor Senthil Kumar sir, and the faculty members and the students, the coordinators, Sanjith, Renitha, and all the people who are coordinated, and especially Sukanya Raghunathan. When you asked Jain sir, actually he used to tell us, oh, the Karnataka pannangala. And I really thank Professor Vipinendran Kannan for associating with us and to have a wonderful program. Thanking you. And the final point is, whatever we have learned, whatever we are, it is very tough to be here, no. So the thing is, maybe I may be very arrogant to you, making you to sit and anyway, this is useful to you only. So you will plan for, as Sukanya madam said, we will plan for one-to-one interaction, how to prepare a CV individually one-to-one, and that will be better for us to make the placement in a better way, sharpen our, we may have good skills, but how do we position ourselves in the interview and how do we make the resume better? That is what's required for the current batch as well as to the upcoming batches. So she has started a journey to give back the thing to the college from last previous batch. So probably she will continue coming and giving things the same. And also Lekha, she is here, our alumnus. I also introduced her. She has good at content writing.
So I'm actually a content developer and a content writer. I do my freelancing. I'll actually have a session. Actually, we had a discussion with Sheik sir. We'll have one more session. That'll be like, let me see. I'll share my views on content development and let's enlighten each other. Yeah, hoping for that. Thank you.
I spoke about relationships. I really forgot to mention. Thank you for reminding, sir. நாங்களாம் ஒரு கேங் MBA படிக்கும்போது and I'm so sweet that she's actually in Chennai and நான் சொன்ன உடனே she was like I'll be there, so relationships, developing relationships. I'm very proud to have such genuine friends. Right now, can I request a picture with all of you, please, and sir, with all the faculty, please, before you leave, one group picture. Can I have you all here, please?